Hello there, very good afternoon to you and welcome to Lunchtime News, coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studio here in Colombo. I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Let's start off with a look at the headlines. Million people face a water crisis. World Water Day marked today. Indian and Sri Lankan fishermen imprisoned in both nations to be released in the future. Accident in Salivava Putlam claims the lives of 3 persons. Now to those stories in detail. UN statistics show that by 2025, some 1.8 billion people will face absolute water scarcity, and an estimated 2/3 of the world's population could be living under water-stressed conditions. A series of programs are being organized in line with the World Water Day, which is being marked by the UN in an attempt to raise caution about the depleting water sources.
Forest experts said at the panel discussion marketing the International Day of Forest, which falls on Monday, that 3/4 of the fresh water that people use every day comes from forested catchment areas, and more than 1.6 billion people live on the forest for food, water, medicine and fuel. Experts say that the worst case scenario will emerge in the year 2025, which is the lack of water to 2 billion of the world's population. Not only will there be a challenge posed to obtain water, but also a challenge posed to obtain clean drinking water.
It has been reported that several villages in Galle receive a limited water supply that lasts for several hours on a daily basis. Water from the Ginganga in Galle is supplied to Akmimana, Ahangama, Unawatuna and Habaradua areas after being purified from the Wakwalla main water treatment plant of the National Water Supply and Drainage Board. Residents of the area say that water is supplied to the area for only 2.5 hours a day, and the water that it supplies is unsuitable for consumption. Lack of tanks to store water is yet another problem that plagues these villages. Minister of Fisheries Mahinda Amarveera says that a prisoner exchange program between India and Sri Lanka focusing on imprisoned fishermen would be implemented.
Currently, 90 Indian fishermen are in Sri Lankan custody, while 20 Sri Lankan fishermen are in the custody of the Indian authorities. Close to 90 Indian fishermen remain under our custody at present, while 20 Sri Lankan fishermen remain in Indian custody. We are conducting phone dialogues in this regard to exchange the fishermen between the countries. Even though this will release the fishermen from both countries, we need to clearly mention that the fishing gear and the vessels which were seized by us will not be released.
Today is Madin Full Moon Poya Day. This Poya Day is important in the Buddhist calendar as it is on a Madin Full Poya Day. The Prince Siddhartha Gautama, after leaving the royal palace, visited the city of Kimbulwatpura for the first time as a Samma Sambuddha. It was on a day like today that the Buddha, along with a retinue of 20,000 disciples, trekked from Veluvanaramaya to Kimbulwatpura to meet his father King Suddhodana, relatives and friends of the Sakya clan. Princess Yasodhara taking refuge in the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, and the ordination of her son Rahula and Prince Nanda were some of the important events that took place on this day. The Unemployed Graduates Union charged that the government is undertaking a lethargic approach to fulfill job vacancies. They made this statement while addressing a media briefing in Colombo yesterday.
There are about 2,200 vacancies in the ministries. Also, there are 6,290 vacancies at national schools. There are 3,500 vacancies at state governing bodies. There are 15,400 vacancies there in total. Other than that, there are 15,000 vacancies at schools in all districts of the country. Even though approval had been granted for this, there is a tug of war going on. At one instance, they say that there is money and that there are vacancies. The next moment, they say that there are no vacancies and that there is no money. We held discussions with the minister. The committee is appointed by the minister and the secretary of the ministry. We have met the highest possible officials. We have only not met the president.
3 persons died as a result of an accident which took place along the Putlam-Anuradhapura road in Saliyawawa. Police media spokesperson ASP Ruwan Gunasekara speaking to Newsfirst said the 3 victims were run over by a lorry at around 5:30 this morning when they were on their way to obtain sil or good virtue. The police say that 2 women and an 8-year-old boy died as a result, and the police said the details of the lorry involved in the hit and run have been uncovered.